Okay. Incident report. I think we have everything that was done and the recommendations. I guess just pass it by the board of whether or not we should do or require anything above and beyond what we have in the report.
I think the report pretty well lays that out with what the recommendation is.
So let's put it on record that it's been reviewed, and unless somebody wants to add, I'll have Nancy or Clint add some other action item to it. I think it's a matter of, just goes in for the record, basically, that the report has been accepted, and I guess I'd entertain a motion to at least accept the report.
Move that we accept the report.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Discuss RSU response, and this was in your correspondence. A little bit shocked, to say the least, with the tone, I guess, is maybe where...
I'm not. That's exactly what I expected.
I guess we weren't at the same meeting because I thought that it was pretty clear based on what the conversation was, is that yes, there was a problem that was in existence beforehand, but it was exacerbated greatly by
Yep.
the school, and that piece has been totally eliminated from the response that we received from RSU 57.
I can't say for sure, but it sounds like that was a lawyer orchestrated response, or what you would expect, that the school department does not wish to, or not school department, but the school does not wish to acknowledge any responsibility there, or put themselves in any kind of situation where they may cost them money. And I think the only way that they're going to respond differently is if there's possible litigation brought against them.
Yeah, I think my only response, my only reaction, John, and not that I expected them to do anything different, but, it's very obvious that the root cause in their view is that the residents have not maintained the corrective measures. So it's all their fault, basically. But, at some point, I think we need to look at what is it that the municipality can do relative to the roads that are our responsibility, which is Hemlock Drive and Oak.
Well, at town meeting, the CIP project for ditching passed with a budget of $60,000.
Yep.
The project was not specific in what roads would be done. It was just that there would be ditching done to alleviate any additional problems. What I would propose is that we make the ditching in this area #1 priority, and give the road commissioner a directive that the first project out of that CIP money would be Hemlock and Oak. It sounded like there were some suggestions made in that meeting that some ditching could be done fairly simple. I believe Joe has also had some conversations with DOT at looking at getting the ditch cleaned out between Oak and Friendship Park, hopefully create some
Yeah, I guess rather than us dictating to the road commissioner, I'd like to sit with the road review committee and the road commissioner and then say this is capital money or infrastructure money that needs to be used. How much of it needs to go there to really do the job correctly, right? So that we don't dump another $40,000 or $50,000 into this road just because, well, the Board of Selectmen said this is a top priority, right? So I think I'd like to see a plan of what we're gonna do there
Oh,
before.
and I'm not saying go
Right.
spend the whole kit and caboodle there, but what I
Well, we could in a
wouldn't want
heartbeat
to see
without-
is start doing all these other ditching projects, and then there's no money left, and then we say, oh geez, we should have done that first. I think as they're setting their projects out of that money, the first project that needs to be looked at is this
Yep.
neighborhood.
But I think it's gotta be a collective look, right? I mean, that's the only thing that I would push for, is let's get the road review committee, the road commissioner, and the board together and say, okay, we have an issue, what can we do? And what makes sense to do that can alleviate, and not gonna alleviate the water coming from the school. It's gonna alleviate the water once it gets to some of those yards. And some of it, I mean, it is kind of, I think Frank used some harsh words here, but some of it is on the homeowner, if especially they've done something that mitigates the flow of water across their property, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've had some discussions with the homeowners, right?
Yeah.
I was not present when they were discussing, but, I mean, have they any ownership to this? If we have to put a ditch across their front lawn to alleviate
Well, I mean, that's the stark
Water.
reality, is if you want the water to flow, you can't have a whole street, which is Hemlock. I don't know how many driveways go into that, but it's gonna be what, 4, 5? Is it that many? That there's really no ditch, it's flat. And which is very obvious when the water comes out of those sports fields, right? And hits those properties, it flowed across the street there.
I think you start out in the low area and you work up.
Yep.
So the first thing that could be done is, and this could come in 2 or 3 different pieces. So the first thing is opening up the flowage in the lowest area, and then you start working across the street toward Oak Street. So that might be a round 1, a round 2, or round 3. And that will certainly, if we do our part as a town, that will certainly open up, it'll be an essential project that if there's still major flooding coming off there, more than it was before that school was built, we have evidence by the fact that we've got the flowing going from Oak Street on down, and then we can say, okay, this is indeed a school problem. But I think at this point, starting off with some of the ditching funds, to start working on the lower area, and I think the road review and the road commissioner can come up with a plan. I know Doug Foglio had outlined a plan, and they might want to work with him and get some of his.
No, I
ideas.
agree. I think there's some change and something that we can do that will help alleviate it.
Yep.
Not going to eliminate it, it might alleviate it. But you can run all the lines you want across Old Elford Road and dump it down every way you want. If you can't stop the water from coming and damming up on Hemlock and Oak and everything else, it's not going to get there. So,
Well, we can get it flowing from below, and then if there's still major problems up there, and we've opened up and done the ditching we've not needed to do there, then you have evidence that you put back on the school and say this wasn't this way before the school was built. But the first thing is, I think we start doing what is the towns take some responsibility to start helping the people in that area.
yeah, I think the other thing, and I think Tammy Jo brought it up this past week, is that there is some opportunity for some safe drinking water activity in the state. Unfortunately, that really has to be driven to the district, but the water district ought to be working with that neighborhood to see what opportunities there are to get some funding to work that. It's going to be on the residents. The residents ultimately are responsible for.
Joe and I have actually talked about that this week. Pretty much the monies that were approved on June 8th are already earmarked, and there's a line waiting for them, so that's probably
Yep.
not going to be an option. However, there are USDA loans that the water district could get involved in that would bring water down to the residents. The water district can't go out and solicit business, so it's going to be the residents that are going to need to solicit the water district. And I understand Joe has had some chats with somebody from the water district, so the water district may be willing to look into that. I think what needs to happen first is that the residents in the water district need to get together, and as a selectman, can we somehow help bring those two groups together? Well, I mean, we can't make anybody get public drinking water. Maybe we could at least start by setting up a forum here at the town hall and opening it up and inviting the water district in and the residents in, and let them start having a conversation. Maybe if we help them make that first step into getting together so that then they can start having the conversations, it would be beneficial to, it would satisfy that the water district isn't going out soliciting business, but it also allows the residents time to start maybe asking some questions.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that there's no reason that the town can't be the kind of the conduit to get everybody together. Just, we need to make sure that that's not a arm-twisting kind of, maybe gentle prodding would be the appropriate word, but I think somehow, you know, there is an alternative for those folks from a water perspective. They have to seek that out, which is the water district, right? And ultimately, what comes with that is a commitment to X amount of people willing to say, I'm in, right?
And we don't have to take a position on that, but we certainly, you know, could open up our facility and say, hey, you know, invite the water district in and invite the residents in, and then let them engage in the conversation.
I'm in favor of your idea, Mr. Chairman, and having a plan in place, because it seems as though the focus of this conversation that we're having now is centered on Hemlock and Oak Street, and we really need to look at, you know, some of the ditching on the Hamilton Road area as well. That those residents down there have a significant problem, and there was some road erosion from when that water crossed Hamilton Road down there, and there really needs to be some ditching. So I think that your idea with the road review committee, sitting down with the road commissioner and, you know, formulating a plan on how best to use what monies that were appropriated in the most responsible and most productive way that we can.
Yeah, because, I mean, ultimately, there's in the operational budget of the road commissioner for roads and maintenance, there is X amount of dollars for ditching. If you recall, the finance committee wanted to up that and take it out of the capital piece of it, if you will, or the project piece of it. Net, it's the same amount of money. That all get raised at town meeting, so there is more than just there's the standalone ditching money, and then there was some ditching money at least budgeted in the roads and maintenance account that could be also utilized. So, and I think, you know, we looked at mitigation money on some of the projects. FEMA did not support that, but we at least know what we were looking at for opportunities, right?
Right. The other thing is, I've requested a fire station for July 29th for Southern Maine Regional Planning Commission to host a mitigation workshop. They're writing the county's mitigation plan, or updating the county's mitigation plan, and any town, and it'll be the surrounding towns here, will have an opportunity to add their portion to the county plan. So at that point, we can put our heads together, hopefully between now and then with the road review committee and say, okay, what do we want out of mitigation? Let's have all this so we can add it to the county plan, so that when they have the extra funds from the 406, hopefully there'll be mitigation money from, that we can do stuff that's been already planned for. So that
Yeah,
meeting
it's
should be
it's
6
tough
to
to
9.
tough to ask for money when you have no plan, right?
I mean, we have some things, 4 roads that are on a portion of it that the county has now. But again, that's been one of those long discussions in this town about what roads and, you know, when you can't even discuss whether it's a town road or private road. And we finally, I think, have worked our way through those, thank goodness, the past 2 years. But this would be a perfect time to get it on the books as what we want to see done sooner than later.
Right. Because whatever anybody else says, I think we're gonna see more storms like that. I'm just saying, you know.
Joe had a
I'm not
comment.
Nostradamus, but I can tell you that we will see heavy rains again.
You've been talking with Al Gore.
Yeah, Al and I are like this.
Just in terms of maybe a delegation from Hemlock and Oak getting together with the water district. You know, I just had a meeting last night, maybe at the next scheduled one, and maybe inviting someone from the Maine Rural Water Association, Steve Levy in particular,
Yes.
who would be, I think, an excellent person to moderate that, and very knowledgeable in terms of what is available out there in USDA funds.
Mm.
Yeah, and Steve certainly is an advisor to the water district. Even though he's spent many moons in this town before the water district.
So how can we help assure that this meeting happens? Let's take some action on it.
I guess we set it up and move forward with it. So, I mean, it's a matter of pick a date and let's invite everybody in from, at least on a town level, and go from there. I have not heard, have we provided a copy of this letter to kind of the group over there? I know that maybe that's just as easy as sending it off to, I think the road craze were certainly involved.
I can send it to Mr. and Mrs. Roadcray.
And Paula. And, yeah.
The Meadows were involved as well. But
And, you know, maybe we can at least, I mean, they certainly have the right to see what came back from the school.
I'll make sure that Mr. and Mrs. Roadcray get a copy of it, and make sure that it can get circulated around the neighborhood.
And then I think we set something up and bring them in. If we want to do that sooner than later, then it's got to be something teed up here in the next
Well,
month. Or
yeah, I think we're talking, all this stuff needs to go on pretty quickly. I think if we can set that up in the next month, if the homeowners show up, great. If they don't, then they've got to make the next initiative. But the thing is the next round of storms possibly could be in October, September, October, with a hurricane coming through there. So, you know, you want to, I mean, if we're going to be doing some ditching or something like that, we need to plan it by that time. And if we need to start getting some motion going toward the water district, it needs to happen now. So I'd say in the next month.
I'd be willing to maybe work with the water district and finding a date, and then kind of share that with the residents. I'd be willing to take the lead on setting that up.
Works for me.
Maybe Joe could participate in that too.
All right, so how about we talk about that next week?
Okay.
Bring it back as an agenda item. Just going to call it Hemlock and Oak. All right. Okay. Anything else on that probably a topic we can spend some time on, but, closing transfer station on July 4th, which is a Sunday.
Clint said he wanted to work.
So, we're open 1 to 5, right? So we would have plenty of time to put on the sign up there that we will be closed that Sunday, right? So we shouldn't cause any significant emotional events. Well, we'll still have that, but I mean, it's,
So,
Second.
any discussion?
When is
Bob,
the-
do you want to work? Okay, Bob will work, so maybe
When's the next time after that that the transfer station will be open?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
But is
Was
this
it
gonna
Wednesday?
be a yearly thing, or is it just gonna be for this year?
depends on when July 4th lands.
I've been there for 20 years and I haven't seen this close.
Absolutely, we have.
Yeah, we have.
I'd like to know when.
Well, if the 4th isn't on a day that we're normally open, it doesn't matter, right? But if it does happen to fall on one of the days that we're open, I know that I have voted in the past to
Well,
close it on the
It's all up to you guys anyhow, so.
Well, no, it's the lobster shells coming on Saturday for a week old. That has an effect on you.
So, it's been moved and seconded.
That's what I was thinking when I asked when the next time was
Well,
open.
it's
You have-
Wednesday.
You have all that stuff from the July 4th weekend
Oh, cool.
sitting for a few days.
Well, the holiday is a Monday, right?
No, Sunday.
But the holiday
It's Monday.
is celebrated on Monday, right? A lot of folks have Monday off, right? I mean, the state's all closed, right?
UPS is?
I'm working.
So, but, I mean, Sunday is the
Well, we're
4th.
open Monday then.
No. So all those in favor of closing Sunday afternoon? Thank you. So we'll close it, you put the signs up today, or tomorrow.
And you can buy Noxema for Wednesday to put into your nose.
Right.
For all the lobster shells.
Okay, all right, old business. Discuss and vote on a survey proposal for map 41, lot 13.
I'm going to make a motion that it is cost prohibitive for what the town could potentially benefit from. Selectman Gale and myself will be meeting with Mr. Grimes, and we're going to be doing a walkthrough according to 2 surveys that he has had done. And unless there is some real significant thing that we don't know about, I mean, Selectman Gale and myself have discussed this, and the benefit to the town of perhaps maybe 1 foot either way on this is really not worth the expense of the amount of money that they quoted us. And certainly I don't want to speak for Selectman Gale, because
No,
he
you're
certainly can
you're
speak for
saying
himself.
exactly
but,
the way. It's unless there's oil on that land, leave it be.
so,
Okay? So, I guess we don't have to vote, just not gonna move forward. Right, I
as
mean,
far
we got a
as-
proposal that's $5,500, right? And we're saying that it's not something that we're gonna entertain based on the price.
I don't really think it's fiscally responsible to expend that amount of money
Right.
for what the potential return might be of, a foot or 2. It's really going to be inconsequential to the right-of-way situation down there that a lot of people are speaking about, because we'd have to have DOT come in and move the guard barriers as well. The fence would have to move and the guard barriers would have to move in order for, to make a public access there.
And who's to say the work that we have done takes precedent over the work that Mr. Grimes has had done? So if you have a difference of a foot or 2 there, is it worth the litigation that could follow to determine which one of these is
And he's paid for
It's
2
legal.
independent surveys, which came within inches of each other. I really don't see what a third survey is going to do. He may come to, a couple more inches this way.
So you guys are gonna go meet,
We're going to meet with him, and, we'll do a walkthrough. He's had this research by 3 different law firms because he wants to put that parcel in a trust fund for his grandchildren, so he has to have all the, Ts crossed and the Is dotted for that. He's expended an awful lot of money, already on legal fees and, surveying that I just don't see where the town is really going to gain anything by, spending $5,500 for a few inches. Yes,
Did he give you a copy of his surveys and
Yes.
all these lawyers
Yeah.
that he's seen?
in fact, it's odd that he used a law firm out of Springfield, but his daughter's a lawyer, his son-in-law's a lawyer, and his daughter's father-in-law is a lawyer in land litigation. And they're the ones that have done some of the work on that piece of property because they have a vested family interest in it.
So that means that he's gonna have use of that boat ramp that he's got, that I feel it's on our land. And he's got half of that, I was gonna say, hey, it's pretty good, he's got this tree all fixed up there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, half of it is ours, and he's got that boat ramp over there, and he's got the fence all the way up to the,
Well, if it's,
but I can't see $5,500 because Charlie Brown, hey, he surveyed it once, he must have this survey in there someplace. He can't tell me he doesn't have it.
and I know that both Selectman Gale and myself have been down there and saw where that one pin is, and the footage from where that dam is to that pin is pretty much right on.
70 feet, 70 feet, I think we called it.
70 or 80.
But it came pretty doggone close. Again, if you find that there's a foot off, and you're talking to Mr. Grimes to have him move his fence 1 foot, is it worth the $5,500 to if it comes?
thank you.
Thank you for waking us up, Bob.
So in effect, we're accepting his,
No, I think we need to take a look at it, but we know
We're going
that,
to be doing a walkthrough.
let's not, I don't think
so
we
we
ought to.
accept somebody's, probably his definition of where the lot line is and be done with it.
That's the
The 2 surveys that are already done.
Okay,
I mean,
as long as we end up with something, not just that we don't want to do it because it costs money.
but I don't think we ought to beat a dead horse either.
I would, I'd like to see the town, I wasn't surprised at the cost from Sebago Technic. They've done a ton of work in town and for people in town, but they are high price. Maybe we need to look around.
Well, let's look at what Mr. Grimes says.
That's what we should be doing.
And I mean, in worst case, we have Charlie review that. I mean, he is kind of like the town's attorney. I'm not the town's surveyor, right? He can take a look at it and say, no, this is all wet, and we think he's wrong, and whatever, but
Again, if we take a walkthrough and we think that it doesn't add up, then we'll come back, but if it seems to make sense,
But for the
then
price of having-
why go out and press it with the possibility of not just having it surveyed again, but then having the 2 surveys or the 3 surveys go into court and getting into a court battle over something that may not mean much at all to the town. If we do see something that it seems to be a real difference, we'll come back and we can rediscuss it. But if you're talking inches here,
for the price of having Charlie come out and walk this thing with you guys, probably worth it. He's gonna come out for a couple of hours. Not gonna charge us $5,000 for walking property. And at least he can give you guys a professional assessment of whether or not he thinks the guy's all wet or there's something there, right? Or go walk it
Well,
and then ask
I
him
don't
for
think
his
he's going
opinion.
to say Mr. Grimes is all wet. He's going to say the two other independent surveyors
Right,
are all wet,
right.
yeah.
But I don't think that I'm not sure that it's the battleground that we want to pick to pit one surveyor against another surveyor if it's going to get us 6 inches.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about acres and acres of land here.
Yeah.
So
Just talking about 1 acre.
walk through the thing and we'll see where we are. If you need,
200.
I guess if you need Charlie to help walk through that, or there's questions for Charlie afterwards, then tee it up with him. That's easy enough.
Yeah, but isn't the thing also that it's so that he can't claim it? I mean, 10, 15, 20 years from now, that's my land? I mean,
Claiming it now,
yeah, well, that's why I say, I mean, is it gonna be, he's gonna be able to claim it, I mean, in a few years from now, that it's his?
Sure, hopefully.
It's his land.
That'll be the outcome. Maybe we're taking his verdict, you record that and be done with it. He gets his foot, he's got the more lawyers, and we can be over with. The worst thing that happens is we go through this fight in 5 years. So you might as well just take his word and be done with it. Right, why spend the money? Just
so
for a
walk
foot,
through
you
it
win.
and we'll go from there.
I mean, right now, does it mean anything to us, you know, to spend this kind of money on it? Well, you know, I don't, you know, other than just saying, I think that that's part of our land there, and if we walk it, and it seems to be pretty doggone close, what does it mean to us to spend the money for a very small tract of land? And then if it does, if 10 years from now it is meaningful, then you fight those battles 10 years from now. But right now, if we go through I think Mr. Grimes would invite anybody that wants to go through that walkthrough. He would seem to be pretty open. He wants to put this thing to bed. So if anybody knows a little bit about this stuff that wants to walk through on this board, take my place. I'm happy to follow through with this, but I'm not an expert in this area. So.
Steve Ross from the Finance Committee is a surveyor. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, maybe that's the person.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, you guys go visit him, see what he's got. We ain't even laid eyes on what he's got yet, and we're already jumping to conclusions that he's gonna steal this land. So,
This has been on our agenda now for a couple of months. It'd be nice to
all right. Moving on to number 2, old business, discuss election process. I guess in front of us is this election notification policy that you guys are proposing, Nancy and John.
I would move that we accept that policy that was that you have before you.
Any second
Second.
discussion?
Should we
Let me read through it, just so that everybody that's listening or watching or... Town clerk will send a notice to the Board of Selectmen and a copy to the town administrator by January 15th of each year notifying the selectmen of ending terms of elected town positions to be considered at the annual town meeting to be included in the warrant. Included with the notice will be the documentation on the terms that will be ending. Town administrator will review, sign, and present to the Board of Selectmen as outlined in the Town of Waterboro Board of Selectmen Decision and Meeting Efficiency Plan. During the fiscal year, any resignation of town elected positions will be reported to the Board of Selectmen upon written notification from the town clerk. Upon receipt of written notification from vacancy of an elected position, filing the seat of filling the seat of the Board of Selectmen will be conducted in accordance with sections 307.3 of the Charter of the Town of Waterboro. Vacancies in elected offices other than the Board of Selectmen will be conducted by section 705 of the Charter of the Town of Waterboro. Such notification shall be placed on the Selectmen's agenda as described by the Board of Selectmen's agenda policy. Proposed is to be adopted on June 22nd, which is today. So, I'm not sure that this, I think this at least gives us a heads up. Like anything else, I guess if it becomes somewhat over time, if it just becomes a standard that everybody kind of flips through, then, you know, something like this could happen again. But I would guess there's enough antenna up around town that this probably is hopefully the last occurrence of this.
This provides a written audit trail, basically, of where it starts and who okays it along the way. So if there's any mess up, you say, okay, this is where it all happened.
Now, is the wording appropriate here to be considered at the annual town meeting? I mean, we don't elect people at the town meeting, but is the elections assumed to be a part of the town meeting?
They are part of it today,
Okay.
even though at town meeting per se, if you want to get down to the quote-unquote meeting part, right? But the warrant at town meeting was established this
Oh,
year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, your annual town meeting is your election of officers.
Right.
Okay.
The rest of it is just a business.
Okay.
All right, so we got a motion to accept in the second. All those in favor? Opposed? Discuss and vote on safe routes to school. I think kind of, I believe Tom, even though he's on vacation, has kind of moved forward with this. But just to put it on record that, you know, bringing this to a positive vote to submit, even though we do not have funds for seed money. I think it's still worth the effort to go through the exercise to, which we have now prepared and ready to submit. So I think it's more than appropriate that we move forward with it. So as suggested here, I would entertain a motion to submit the application.
I will move that we submit the application and that the work has been done, and the worst that can happen is it's rejected, and but at the same time, what it may do is set a path for the next time we have an opportunity, and hopefully that'll come up in the next year or so. And we can, if this one is not accepted, we can resubmit.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All right.
Tom needed a letter from us, so we need somebody to draft that letter. He also asked that we solicit letters from the school superintendent and the middle school principal, as well as a letter from the road review committee. We have a letter from the road review committee that they submitted to the board saying they supported this project back a month or so ago. I think that we could just kind of bring that letter back up, but somebody's going to need to contact the superintendent and the principal, and the board needs to draft the letter to go with the application.
Okay, so do I have a volunteer to draft a strong letter of support from the Board of Selectmen?
I'll draft the letter. And
I'll
maybe John, with his contacts, could do the superintendent and the
Sure.
principal.
In the road review committee, we already have something anyway,
Yeah.
right? So,
Pam would have it in the correspondence.
all right, so we'll bring them back next week for signature, review and signature. Let me know how quickly Frank responds to that request. All right, other warrants and bills for payroll? Moved by Gordon, second by,
Over here.
second by John. All those in favor? Opposed? Discuss, vote, and sign minutes of 6:15.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? David wasn't here. Pending decisions, we still got the staff training and the training policy, Nancy. Week's action list, we're going to send a note out to the neighborhood, I guess, is, or at least follow up. Tammy Jo was
Yep,
going to
I'll take
put
care
that
of
out to. Going to bring back next week discussion on hemlock and oak ditching. I guess we'll leave it at that. Next week, the Safe Routes to School letter needs to be signed, reviewed and signed. What else?
It-
Is there a workshop next week?
All right, and we got,
Your meeting with Friends of the Library.
right. So I guess that probably will consume the bulk of where we are. So let's talk briefly, we'll do the letter
For Safe Routes.
for Safe Routes. Just quickly kind of summarize where we stand with hemlock and oak. If nothing more, let's set up a date.
Tammy Jo, this letter that you're doing, is this something that I can take a copy and have Frank Shearbone take change it in any way that he wishes to put a school support behind that? Or
Yep,
if you can give me a copy of that, I can take it over and
I
say,
think I
will
can
you-
do it tomorrow night, so I can get it to you tomorrow night, so you have it for Thursday morning.
Okay, Thursday morning.
Just remember that, according to Tom, we have to have a strong letter of support from the Board of Selectmen and a muscular letter of support from...
I wonder if it would be better if they weren't, carbon copies of each other.
No, but if you get a letter that I can give to them, say, please don't use this but this gives you this shows you what we want.
Yep.
So it's something that you can do very quickly, and you can get back.
Yeah, I think the deadline on it.
There goes that chair.
I'm glad that,
Did you just go? Oh, I'm glad it's you and not me.
luckily those cat-like reflexes.
You're going to have that discussion with Peter.
Maybe, John, you could have Frank add something about the safety of flooding or something. Get him elevated on the sidewalk.
All right, so we have...
Low
The
bidder.
deadline for this is the 30th, so.
All right,
Get it.
Okay.
so it's got to be here, ready to go in the package for the 30th.
The
All
30th.
right, so let
Okay,
me...
maybe I can get over, maybe I can get over there tomorrow.
And maybe we could get a gigantuous letter of support from our representative, Mr. Wagner.
As long as it isn't strong or muscular.
Right. We have one other item, which is an executive session that we'll go into here in a minute. Let me just go through items needing signature, warrants and bills of payroll, minutes of 6:15, there's a concealed weapons permit in there, the snow plowing contracts, assessing maintenance and reevaluation maintenance will really go to next week, although we could do the reevaluation maintenance agreement tonight. Treasurer's disbursement and journal adjustments. Journal adjustments, I guess, are from Julie. I'm not sure why the board needs to sign journal adjustments, but they're presented here tonight. I guess we can go through that.
It was decided by a previous board that the board would approve all journal entries prior to them being done.
How many other little things did previous boards vote on that we do or don't follow anymore?
Well, I think Nancy brought up a good point this week in one of her correspondence, was it's time for us to start really looking at all of our policies. We've got things that are sort of all over the place, and bringing everything together in one
That would be good
cohesive.
under the goals that we're
Yeah.
setting. I think that would be a real good goal to update our policies.
Yeah.
Um,
Pam and I will discuss something and we end up going through 4 or 5 different policies before we can find it.
Should be codified.
There's, are you doing business next week?
Yeah.
Because we had mentioned as far as an agenda item, I don't know if it was brought up, it was brought up earlier, and that is a discussion and action regarding the attendance of committee members that's under 75%.
Right, you're gonna, that's right. There's one in here tonight. You're gonna give us the balance, and then we'll put an agenda item that deals with committee attendance. We'll deal with it all at one shot.
If we could, on this also, Pam, if you could put down the number of meetings they were supposed to have, so we can do a comparison on the number that, they are.
Their secretaries giving this
Right.
information.
Because I noticed on the material that you provided, it shows how many meetings they attended, but it doesn't tell you how many they could have attended, what the maximum was.
Yeah, it did, it said 23.
Did it? Where-
On top.
where did you see that?
Yep. It's at the top.
All right, the other thing that we did not bring up, although we've kind of tossed around, was the moratorium ordinance on marijuana dispensaries. That's kind of been drafted. I know that we talked about that last week, and I know that kind of the cart is, the horse has left the barn on one of them anyway, but although I noticed that Portland shot their proposal down over the last couple of days, but anyway, we probably need to at least have that discussion next week of do we move forward with this or not.
I thought we voted that we were. And
Right,
we
but I
just
think-
sent it to,
Okay,
Yeah, I thought we did too.
and we were just sending it to legal for,
okay.
Yeah.
So do we have anything back from Natalie or Ken?
that's what we have, right?
This is
Those are
this is what-
Natalie's
okay, all right.
changes.
All right, so we need to at least execute this written policy, right?
Well, yeah, if you do it as an emergency, because
Yeah.
it's good for,
I looked that up, I think, was it
90
90
days.
days.
And we're going to have to send it to the planning board because they're going to have a piece that they're going to have to start working on. That was part of the moratorium.
All right, so legally, I know we voted last week that we were going to move forward with a moratorium, right? Do we have to vote on the language that is now being presented,
Yes,
right?
you would have to accept what is being presented, what's before you.
Okay, so do we do that before or after we get a perusal by the planning board? I don't see what the planning board has to do with this at this point.
No, it's after the
Yeah,
Right.
moratorium
Yeah, you need
passes.
to do that
Right,
now,
so-
and then they take it
so-
off.
And I have 90 days.
So my suggestion is, we put this document on for a vote next Tuesday night. Because this says it's a draft,
Right.
so I just want to make sure that we're not thinking that we're marching down the road and we don't really have anything that's valid. All right, so reminders, land trust meeting, 7 PM tomorrow night, town hall. Library trustees, Thursday night, 7 PM at the library. Old Home Days Committee, Thursday night, 7 PM, town hall. Cribbage Tournament, 7:30 a.m. Saturday morning at the Town Hall. Transfer Station Recycling Committee, 6:30 p.m. Monday, the 28th. And a Selectmen's meeting workshop here next week. Are we having EMA report out next week?
I think she was planning on it.
Okay, and we're having a workshop with the Friends of the Library.
I'd just like to say, come one, come all. On Sunday at 1 o'clock at the Taylor House is a pig roast. And bring your whole family and the old people and anyone that doesn't want to eat pig. There's hot dogs and there's also veggie burgers. But there's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be live entertainment there, and you'll see the signs up now as you drive by, right behind the Taylor House. This is the Friends of the Library, and what will probably become an annual pig roast.
What time is that again, John?
That's 1 to 3.
Okay? So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session. And we'll say effective 5 after 8, so that we have time to zip through and do whatever signatures we gotta do here. So, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay.